Our next pummel is actually directly described in a historical source by Pedro Monti in his Collectanea, published in 1509, but written probably sometime in the 1490s. This is the over-under pummel. So in general, in armed fighting, it's a good idea to get my arms under my opponent's because I can jack his arm up away from his waistline. I can still access my waistline. I can access anything on his belt. In any way that you look at it, he really doesn't want this underhook. So we're gonna practice the pummel from an over-under grip to start and then build it into a flow of movement. So I take one arm that goes over his, my other arm is under, and I clasp my hands. He's gonna do the same. When I realize that an arm has entered under my arm, I'm gonna take this hand and I'm gonna create a thumb pectoral index. This is going to create a triangle, as you can see here, between my chest, upper arm, and lower arm. Now, Ethan is unable to jack my arm up away from my waistline. Go ahead and try it. Triangles are very strong in nature. Now that I've established this bar, I'm gonna drive to his rear heel. When I do this drive, I punch down and then bicep curl up to take control of the limb. At this point, I have double underhooks. This is very bad for Ethan. It allows me to take side control, move to his back, do all sorts of nasty things he doesn't want to happen. So when we come from our initial position, we're both going to bar out the underhook, and we're both going to drive. We're both going to bar out the underhook, and we're both going to drive. Now we've created the over-under pummel. Don't forget your fundamentals of pressure, posture, and position, even as we engage with the pummel. Our goal is to dig underhooks and control the opponent's body rather than their limbs. From the over-under position, once Ethan has this underhook, he has the ability to cut the corner and jam his underhook up, get his shoulder under my arm, and jack my arm up away from my belt line. Go ahead and execute that. I now no longer have the ability to reach my belt. He's taken a dominant head position. He's got his center line perpendicular to my center line, and my posture is beginning to break. Once I feel that underhook in place, I'm gonna take this hand, my overhook hand, and I'm gonna create a thumb pectoral index. That's where my thumb references against my pectoral muscle. Note the triangular structure here between my chest, my upper arm, and my lower arm. Now, if Ethan attempts the same action as before, I'm able to sink my mass and prevent him from getting up into that position. Thumb pectoral index, I take my thumb, I place it against my pec. We can now see a triangular structure. Triangles are extremely strong in nature. This now prevents that underhook from being dug up and in. Regardless of how strong he is, I will then sink mass onto this side. I'm not going to drive over far where he can then take advantage of it and throw me, but I need a little bit of mass down onto it, bending my knees, sinking my hips. So once again, hip placement relative to the opponent. I need my hips lower. This prevents his underhook from being effective. Completing the pummeling action, we move from our overhook to the thumb pectoral index. I sink, creating a window. I'm going to shoot my hand on a straight line to the rear of his heel. From this position, I now need to turn it into an underhook, and I'll do that by effectively a bicep curl. Now, my underhook allows me to move Ethan, jack him up and around, turn his body, etc.